sir.
Today we're going to be talking about a couple things. We're going to talk about how easy it is to use a booking app. We're also going to talk about what barbers should do, or what different ways that barbers can handle no shows and people that want to book with you but they keep canceling. All right, what's up, guys? It's Not Your Ordinary Barber with N.Y.O Barbershop.
Hello, everyone. This is CT Barber. We're here once again.
Back with another podcast.
Yes, sir.
Today we're going to be talking about a couple things. We're going to talk about how easy it is to use a booking app. We're also going to talk about what barbers should do, or what different ways that barbers can handle no shows and people that want to book with you but they keep canceling. I'm gonna hand it over to Chris. He's gonna talk about a couple things quick.
So basically, like what do you do with clients that like they want to keep booking with you, but they keep canceling? They don't like when you charge the
The
Booksy
policies.
charge their cars and stuff like that. Well, like they gotta understand we have rules, we have norms that this is what we do. Like we can't we can basically like just sit around and wait for them, but they don't want to get charged for that hour that they
Yeah.
got charged for, you know. So it's kind of hard to deal with that. That's why we're here. Like we're here to learn, to educate you guys, and at the same time learn from all the mistakes that you guys do. Like
What a lot of people don't realize is that barbers, if there's two ways barbers work, right? You have barbers that work by commission, in which
exactly.
case, for every haircut they do, they have to pay a certain commission to the
To
barbershop.
the barbershop.
And then you have barbers that pay chair rent, which is they're considered independent contractors,
Hmm.
and they basically are paying rent for that booth to work in that barbershop, right? The barbers that are independent contractors, I mean, you know that if nobody's in that chair and you're not cutting anybody, you don't have a customer, you're
Yeah,
not making any money.
you're not making money.
Um, Another thing is that people don't realize barbers don't get sick days. We don't get holiday pay. I mean,
That's true.
I just saw a video actually. I might add it to it later, but a video where there's a company, like a brand, a barber brand,
Hmm.
and I believe in New Jersey, that they offer free health care to their employees,
That's dope.
which is pretty dope. But aside from that, I mean, if you're not on commission and you're paying booth rent and you don't have somebody in your chair, the barber's not making any money. You know what I'm saying?
There's still a lot of barbers out there that they don't have like health insurance, like a lot of things like that. That like usually people that work at a warehouse or like any type of company that they receive, we don't receive none of that.
No, it's very
So
true.
we kind of gotta do another process to be on the same position like another person.
And a lot of people don't realize how expensive healthcare is.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, yeah, there's cheaper stuff out there, but co-pays are more expensive with some of the cheaper stuff. Things like that. But we're getting a little bit off topic. But yeah. So you have a customer, right? Let's say, for example, this goes out to the barbers. You have a customer that's booking with you, and he continues to do a no-show. Now, how do you guys handle that? What do you do?
Um, Basically, you kind of gotta explain to them like what's going on, what's their behavior, how do we work, what are your rules as a barber, and it's kind of, for me it's kind of tough to deal with because like sometimes I don't know how to separate business with like
Personal.
personal things with people. Not everybody, of course. Like you kind of like there's people that might be your friends and stuff like that, and you like what do you do with that? Sometimes you ask yourself, but you kind of have to explain to them. You have to explain to them what's going on. This is our rules. This is what we gotta do, and what can I do like to fix the problem with the client.
Some people don't. They feel that it's okay to just do a no-show for a barber, because for such a long time, barbers were not using apps.
Yeah.
They weren't using no-show policies. They didn't have cancellation policies. You know, throughout the years, barbering has kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Rised a lot.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's evolved into more of a profession, right?
And we get it. Like a lot of people still don't know that. That's kind of
Yeah.
new to even barbers. It's kind of new to a lot of barbers. Like you know,
You know,
it's tough. It's tough to deal with,
we
honestly.
I have made another video talking about that, but let's say like some salons, women, nail salons, hair salons, um, they use like let's say or even restaurants, they use booking apps, right? So let's say, or even studios. Let's say you're you're an artist, right? And you want to book recording time at a studio. You go to one of these booking apps. You set the time, the date, so on and so forth. A lot of these places you have to leave a deposit now.
Hmm.
Okay, whether it's a percentage, whether it's the whole amount, whether it's
Even
fifty
the
percent.
app has that.
Yeah,
It has a prepayment if you really want to do it like that. But
and that's
most of the barbers, I don't think they do it like
I actually know a couple that do it that way. That you have to prepay.
that. Prepay.
But the problem with that is
It's two different payments, and it's
it goes back to like what you were saying. I understand when things happen. So let's say you have an appointment with your barber, you get a flat tire, you gotta change the tire. The barber's booked. You send them a message. You let them know, look, listen, I just got a flat tire. I'm not gonna be able to make my appointment, so on and so forth. Now the barber has the ability to accept that, and not charge you, or he can charge you anyway. But I mean, most barbers are considerate about stuff like that. You know what I'm trying to say? Now, if you're out there and you're texting your barber, look, I overslept, or
that's not our fault. Like there's things that are acceptable and that we believe, but there's a lot of things that are it's not our fault. Like you gotta be responsible. If you was sleeping, try to set an alarm, or you know, um, but there's nothing we could do about that.
and that's the thing. Like, as a grown man, as a grown person, you you have a schedule for work. Let's say, for example, right? You set your alarm so you can get up in time. If you're known for oversleeping, and you can't make your appointments, or you don't make your appointments normally, set an alarm. And aside from that, a lot of these apps send you reminders. They'll tell you, look, listen, and on 24 hours you have an appointment with such and such. A couple hours before your appointment, it tells you, look, you have an appointment with such and such. I mean, there should be no reason why you can't even send a message to let them know like you're not
And
coming.
and the app sends reminders too.
Yeah,
I believe.
a couple hours before, 24 hours before your appointment. All that's set in these apps. The only thing it doesn't do is call you and wake you up. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I mean,
that's,
how about you? What do you do? I'm still kind of learning and dealing with that. I want to hear
I
a
mean,
lot
it
of different
depends.
options.
I've I've had customers that I've been cutting for a really long time, and sometimes they do no shows. Um, you know, on the app, well, we're going to show you guys how easy it is to use the app anyway, by the way. But on the app, you're going to go on the app and it shows you a no show or a cancellation policy. Early cancellation is usually within an hour. If you go in and cancel it because you overslept or whatever the case is, it'll charge you, I think it's 25% of what, or 50% of what the haircut cost is. If you do a no show where you don't call or text,
It's a
it's
hundred
gonna
percent.
it's gonna send you 100. It's gonna charge you 100% of the call, of the service. Now, what I do normally is I have it set where it doesn't automatically do that. I go in and I do it myself. You know what I'm trying to say? So I like to give people a couple chances.
Me too. Me too. That's what I do. And but sometimes it gets to a point where it's too much.
Yeah.
So it's nothing personal against you guys, clients, or anything that like we feel we have to do. But
I,
it's our job.
I mean, the way it works is, you do the three strike rule. The first one, customer's doing it. He knows the no show policy. Obviously because in order to book, you got to check I agree, right? So that's the first one. You may not want to charge them the first time. You know what I'm trying to say? Second time it happens, next time you sit them in the chair, you're like, look, I really, I have a no show policy. I really can't keep doing this. It's really messing up my time if I have no, and explain to them nicely. Look, Normally, if I don't have anyone in the chair, I don't make any money.
Hmm.
Sometimes you'll have customers, in the waiting area, and they'll be there waiting, and you're telling them, no, I can't get you because I got somebody in 5, 10 minutes. They don't show up, then the customers are over there looking at you like, what the heck? You don't
Hmm.
want to cut my hair.
Yeah.
So, not only are you telling customers you can't get them, you might have customers that are sending you text messages that you're telling them you don't have any room. So you explain that to the customer. Third time it happens, I mean, you charge them. You've seen the no show policy from when you signed up. Second time it happened, I explained to you to please not let it happen. Send me a message, let me know. You don't send a message, you oversleep or whatever. The third time it happens, you're gonna get charged. Um, Now, there's been cases where on the third time I charge it, customers, kind of like, oh, we've been doing this for a long time. And what I'll do in that case is I'll tell him just book the next one. The next one will be free. Fourth time he does a no show, I'm charging him no matter what. You're not going to get a refund the fourth time.
See, like that's kind of the problem, cause like we barbers sometimes we create monsters
Yeah.
because we let things slide or just to be nice or whatever. We might not explain those things to the clients, but I had an incident like that last weekend. They asked me for a refund and I gave it to them, but I don't know like what's gonna happen from now on because they know that
Yeah.
I explained it to them and everything, and they still wanted the refund. So
Yeah. I mean, for the next time, I wouldn't refund it. I would just kind of just, you did it once. Next time it happens, there's no refund. I mean, it is what it is.
yeah.
Sometimes, it's messed up to say, man, but sometimes you got to fire clients, bro. Right
And
there.
right now, honestly, that's how I feel like because it goes back to what I said. Like it's been too many times. So like
Yeah, I mean, if it's messing up your time, you're sitting around doing nothing. It's probably on a busy day too. It's probably on a Saturday, or something like that, back to school
definitely.
or whatever, and you got someone that doesn't show up for an appointment.
And
Like,
us rejecting clients that are sitting around there, there's money to be made, and
yeah,
you you don't show up then.
and there's nothing personal to nobody. It's just more
Exactly.
like you gotta stick to your guns, man.
Hmm.
You know,
No, no, it's what I say. It's nothing personal, but like we understand things happen to them. They gotta understand that things that happen to us,
yeah.
and that this is our job.
The same way, you as a customer make an appointment, and the barber tries to respect your time. You got to respect his time as well.
Exactly.
The same way your appointment's at 4 o'clock, and he may be running a couple minutes behind, but you're close to 4 o'clock. The same way you're doing that, is the same way the barber's going to do it too. If the barber's running behind, it's always good for a barber to send a message and be like, look, I'm running 10, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
10 or 15 minutes late, and you're next as soon as you walk in. You know what I mean? And letting customers know, that helps a lot too.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think that customers should also, they gotta let the barbers know as well. You know what I mean? Look into that. If you have to leave a credit card, and there's policies when you sign up, read them. Don't just check the box and just hit next just to book the appointment. You know what I'm trying to say? Um, but if you do a no show the first time, most barbers are pretty considerate and they don't go ahead and charge you. You know what I'm trying to say? The next thing we're going to talk about is motivating barbers, motivating, or how to keep yourself motivated as a barber. Um, New barbers, it's pretty, it's not that difficult to stay motivated, especially if you're slow and you're around a group of people that you see are always working, and that are trying to push you. But as a barber who's been doing it a decent amount of time, it's a little more difficult to stay motivated. You know what I mean?
As a barbershop owner, like what do you do when you have like beginners like that? Sometimes I see how people get like so discouraged and sad because the haircut came out bad and stuff like that. Like what?
Well, I mean, aside from the bad, you got to keep the good with the bad too. You can't just say, oh, you're doing a bad job or the haircut came out messed up. You know, you also got to praise them when something good happens. You know what I'm trying to say? When they do a good cut, something nice, something that looks good. You just can't be like, that they're doing stuff wrong. You got to point out the good things they do as well. That's something to keep people motivated. And help them out. I would say the one of the most important things is to try to keep somebody in their chair so they can practice and let the customer know that,
That's a student barber.
as a student, or an apprentice, so that way if another barber or the shop owner has to kind of butt in to try to help, the customer doesn't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's important to let them know because then they're gonna say, "Oh, what's going on here?" And the beginner barber, be patient. Ask for help if you need it. Sometimes, as I went through it like many years ago, but like when you're a new barber, you feel like shy to ask another barbers for help because they're busy and stuff like that, and it's kind of overwhelming at the same time.
No, yeah. Sometimes, you feel like you don't want to bother anybody.
Exactly.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you should. I mean, as a shop owner, you kind of have to assign certain people to kind of help. Not everybody's going to want to help, you know what I mean? But, certain people or a certain person in the shop besides yourself that can help. And that's what I would recommend. I would recommend having, yourself as the shop owner look over and watch everything. If you have someone new and they're learning how to cut hair, they're an apprentice, I would say put them next to you for as long as possible, so that way you can watch what they do. If they have any questions, they can just ask you. They don't feel uncomfortable going to somebody else. You know what I'm trying to say?
As a beginner barber, like, is the best option you have. Well, depending where you work at, but here you know that we don't let anyone leave out that door with like a really bad haircut, But as a beginner, the best thing you can do is ask for help because um, it's important that the client um, leaves out the door with a decent haircut at least.
And the other thing is that you should always have somebody, kind of in charge of helping an apprentice is usually under one person. But let's say if I'm not here, or if I'm not here, then Chris is always here, and if Chris is not here, then I have another person that comes into play. You know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
isn't just me and that's it. But you should always take. Barbers should always be able to take criticism, whether you've been doing it 5 years or whether you've been doing it 2 days.
Of course, yeah.
Some people get kind of funky when you're like, look, listen, you left a little bit of a line or whatever the case is.
Mhm.
But you just don't take it that way. It's just to make somebody better, man. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right, and the clientele of the barbershop too, because people go to a barbershop get a bad haircut, they're gonna say, "Oh, I went to N.Y.O barbershop. I didn't go to Jose or I didn't go to Chris." It's the shop's name under that. So as a barber, you gotta keep that in mind, like to stay there.
it's not just the shop owner that it affects.
The
It's
whole
everybody that works within that shop.
everyone, yeah.
So if you don't want to be the type of barber that doesn't want to not criticize, but you're the type of barber that doesn't want to point out certain things to somebody else, just keep in mind that haircut that's walking out the door is a
That's
reflection of
falling on
you.
you
Of
too.
you. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, some people act like they don't care, but that's falling under you too
Yeah.
because you might be the barber that only does walk-ins and stuff like that, and
All that stuff affects it.
a
You know
lot
what
of
I mean?
people that only depends on walking because they may not have too many clientele. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind too.
And that's something else I wanted to talk about too. Where this week that just passed and this week coming up, we were dealing with like back to school. So not all the schools in the area over here
Open at the same, yeah.
start at the same time. You have some that start one week ahead, and then you have some that start a couple days after Labor Day. You have some that, elementary school that starts on a Tuesday, and then the high school starts on a Thursday. So these past 2 weeks, we've been getting a little bit of a rush.
Hmm.
Um, Now, some people don't see it this way, but most barbers want to work by appointment. Most barbers want to be booked out. Most barbers want to be where, they're cutting the same people over and over again. And, they feel comfortable with what they're doing, right? But when you have, things like this where, it's back to school or Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever the case is, you're going to get a lot of walk-ins, people you've never seen before that are trying to get into the barber shop to get a
Hmm.
haircut. Now, I ran into the situation last week where I had 6 barbers here, right? 6 barbers, and out of the 6 barbers, I think 5 were booked. Only no, I'm sorry, 7 barbers, 5 were booked. 2 are doing walk-ins, right? Out of those 2, I had a barber that was, they did take some appointments throughout the day, but how do I explain? I kind of felt that in a way he didn't want to do walk-ins also. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It was kind of like, all right, I have an appointment at 2 o'clock. He does his 2 o'clock. He spends an hour and a half on the 2 o'clock and then disappears. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So my thing with some of those with barbers like that is, and I'm gonna explain to him too. I kind of started talking to him, but something like that. If you only want to do the people that you cut, and you don't want to do walk-ins, and you want to cut when you want to cut, and things like that, it's not very sensible or profitable for them to be paying chair rent. If it's something like that, we should do, maybe just get a suite, work for yourself and do something like that. You know what I mean? How do you feel? What do you think about barbers that open up little suites and basically it's just a one person chair? What do you think about those?
I think that's probably the best thing for them. Like sometimes people have their own personalities or a lot of things going on that that's probably the best thing that they can do, you know. Just probably not because of them, but because of the other people in the barbershop too, you know. Um, I think a suite is very nice.
No, suite's dope.
You can do whatever you want. You can do set your own rules. You can design however you want. So
But you're working by yourself,
exactly.
and you're
So
you're you're dependent on the clientele that you bring.
there's pros and cons about working alone and having your own suite and barbershop and stuff.
That's something where I guess some barbers like the vibe of the barber shop, but don't like the fact that they don't like to cut certain type of people or certain people. I guess you know
I
what I'm
know
trying to
I
say.
know barbers that's their dream to have a suite and work on their own, like
Yeah,
with no people in there, just the client and them. That's it. But again, that's up to you guys. Like
and
that's
that goes back
something.
to like in the vibe of the shop. Some people,
Yeah.
you're either gonna like the vibe of the shop, you're not. Um, but I tried working by myself like that, even in here, man. When I was in the back, dude, I was bugging me out.
No, no bueno.
Nah, it wasn't good, cause like I just couldn't do it.
I don't know. Like I like the barbershop vibe. I love working like
Yeah, I couldn't do it by myself. you know. But back to what we are saying, like, so you have barbers that work by appointment, um, and you have barbers that do walk-ins, right? Problem with that is if you have only one barber that's doing walk-ins, sometimes you can't keep up with the amount of people that are coming in.
that. Hmm.
And then ultimately, um, the shop suffers. You know, the guys that do walk-ins suffer in the long run because
A lot
those
of people are
customers
leaving.
that are leaving and you're not getting to are potential customers that you could, that you could be cutting. That might be a customer that comes every 2 weeks for a haircut.
Hmm.
That might be somebody looking for a new barber. That might be somebody that got kids or knows a lot of people and they can bring them to you. You know what I mean? So though he may not come back again because he was like, oh man, I don't got all day to wait around. But so ultimately, sometimes that hurts a barbershop also. You know what I'm trying to say?
No.
So what makes it tough is debating whether or not you should be an appointment barbershop or you should be, if you're taking walk-ins. But that's what kind of makes it where it's a little funky. You know what I'm trying to say? How it's up to how the shop owner wants to structure it. I think walk-ins are great because that's money that comes in that you could you weren't dependent on. You know what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say?
and clients that you're probably gonna gain from their own. You know, they might like your service, they might like your haircut, and then there, there's clients that get a haircut every week,
Yeah, they come in once a week,
or a
a shape
shape
up
up
and a
and then
haircut.
a haircut. You know, so those are good clients.
Yeah, I have a couple you see every Friday.
Every Friday,
Every
every.
Friday, same time. He just has a set. Same time. He just has a set
You ever had a client that comes in like say on the weekend and then he comes like say like a Wednesday?
just to get cleaned up. Yeah,
So that's basically like
not all the time, but like let's say he has an event or something.
no, but I mean that's like really close. So if you don't have a weekend on the middle, that would be like say on the same week.
Yeah,
Say he goes to a barbershop on a Monday, but then he goes on a Saturday. You're getting two haircuts in the same week.
yeah. I've had that happen. Not all the time, but yeah, where they'll come in, get a haircut, come back a couple of days later
Getting
to get
cleaned
cleaned
up
up.
and stuff like
And
that.
it's usually because they have something that's going on. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They
yeah.
may have a
Or
wedding
they
that
have a
Saturday, then that Wednesday they got another event. So
or they have a job that they like staying presentable and stuff like that.
and I've noticed that also that we've been getting a little bit busier, and there's certain clients that I haven't seen in a while because I know it's probably more difficult for them to book.
Because of the season, yeah.
And it's just harder for them to get in. Like right now, you just saw we just went on Booksy, and the next availability was not till like next
Except,
next week. You know,
yeah.
so it's tough. You know what I mean? But I mean, guys, there's other people in the barbershop. If there's something you can't get into, and you feel a little uncomfortable going somewhere else, I got other guys in the shop. And shop owners, you guys should always try to promote other barbers as well. If a shop owner's booked, yeah, you're gonna have certain clientele that's only gonna want to go to you. But I mean, some people need that cut. You know what I mean? Recommend one of the other barbers. Don't be afraid to put someone from your chair into another barber's chair. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, guys, like clients, we can't stress it enough. Like schedule ahead of time.
Yeah.
I had a client. He tested me. I think it was yesterday. He's like, "Oh, bro, I need a cut. I'm going to a wedding, and then I'm doing this, and then I'm doing that." I'm like, "Remember, we're closed Sunday, Monday, bro." He's like, "Damn, I missed out." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
And that's the other thing too. Like that's like a holiday, dude, for barbers. Maybe not Sundays. Sundays you got some of the guys here. But Mondays, dude, barbershops are closed on Mondays, man.
Yeah, no.
Like that's like a barber thing. Some shops aren't, but like yeah, barbershops are closed Mondays, but it's always been like a thing. You know what I mean? In New York, it's always Saturday and Sundays. That's where the busiest are because a lot of people work during the week, and Saturday and Sundays are the only days you have. You know what I mean? But Mondays, dude, Mondays are tough.
There's a barbershop that they don't close, but I mean, we clean, we have a life, we have a
hmm
family, so
A lot of people don't realize that. To sometimes to put in that extra time. That's another thing too, guys. Like, yo, check this out. So let's say you do a no-show, man, and your barber's trying to fit you in at last minute, and you still don't come. Like, that's crazy. I've had that happen where I'm like, all right, I'll make
all
you the
the
last
time, bro,
one,
all the
and then your
time,
last one cancels on you, and you're like, dude, I just told my wife that I'm not gonna be home for another hour and a half.
because you're coming.
So she's there sitting at home eating dinner by herself because I'm trying to get you in. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
They don't think about it.
yeah, no, it's crazy.
And so,
Yeah.
no.
We'll get that. We'll get into
Okay,
that another time.
okay.
¿Qué más tiene ahí?
Uh, yeah, that's all I had. Let me see. Yeah, that's all I had. Yes.
All right, we'll talk about something else. All right, another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was for shop owners or even barbers themselves, how important Google is to for marketing your shop or marketing yourself. Right?
That's a good one.
Everybody, first thing you do, let's say when you're looking something up, you want to find out a store hours. You want to find out what the closest restaurant is. You want to find out where the closest barber shop is. You want to find out anything. Most people open Google up, right? Now we had a little thing here. When was it? I want to say a couple months back.
Yeah, like 2 months ago.
Yeah, we did I did a little contest with the guys. We're like, all right, the person that gets the most reviews on Google is gonna get, be rewarded. And some of the guys participated. Most of them did actually. And man, I mean, it was pretty dope. Um, but to see the way I see that Google works is based on interactions. How many people search it. Okay, how many people
Comment.
comment, leave a rating,
Hmm.
and also the how high the rating is as well. So if you're in a shop and you say the areas, you got a slow week, and you're in an area where it's kind of set back away from everything, use Google to take advantage of that. Take advantage that people are looking up certain things online. Get your customers inside, to leave ratings, leave comments, leave you like 5-star reviews. The more reviews that a barbershop gets or a barber, the more looks, the more Google's going to put them out there because they're not going to recommend
More,
somebody that doesn't have any
more,
reviews. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
more. You get more exposure as a barber or barbershop, whatever it is.
Yeah. There's another thing like called Google Ads where you can add some money to it and it'll kind of do little pop-ups here and there for based on a demographic that you choose. So let's say you want to do a 20-mile radius or 10-mile radius between the barbershop and whatever.
Does that pop up on their browser that they're using, or like?
Wherever Google Ads wants to take it. So, all right. So let's say they do a search. You ever see like those ads that pop up there, like on the top corner that'll say, oh, whatever haircut. Um, let's say you do a search for a barbershop, it'll pop up, 10% off if you book with this person or
Hmm.
5%. That's basically the thing with the ads.
Okay.
You ever do a search on Google and something that has nothing to do with it pops up? That's the same thing with Google ads, you know? Um,
I mean, it's really good because like people when they move to new areas, they search on Google, look for restaurants, gyms, barbershops, usually hair salons if it's a women, So it's important to maintain your business, or if you're a barber, to
yeah, I mean, Google is very important, bro. Google, a lot of people put that down. Yeah, Booksy, people look at Booksy and, yeah, it's good, but how are you going to get people to Booksy? If you, let's say, right now, here, let's bring this up. Here, I don't want to be a dick. I'm going to bring this up just so you guys can see how this works. So we're going to do barbershop near me. I have to use your current location. Yes.
that's
Stay
dope.
signed out. All right. So the first thing that pops up, because we're actually in the barbershop, but the first thing that pops up is N.Y.O barbershop because we're close, then the next closest, then the next closest, so on and so forth. Right. So now let's say, for example, we decide, okay, N.Y.O barbershop. Now your Google page, is gonna pop up. It's very important that you guys should put photos, so people can see your work, stuff that you guys have done, so on and so forth. And then you guys can see there's photos. It automatically brings up the Instagram page. Boom, it takes you right to Instagram, Facebook. It's gonna take you to Facebook, Booksy because N.Y.O Barbershop is on Booksy. It's gonna open Booksy. These are all the barbers that are under the barbershop. So, all this stuff is going to help you. You know, if you go and you have all these things set up to where it's, under the same name, you're using Google the right way, Google is going to search and put your priority out there. You know what I'm trying to say? So there's no reason why you can't market yourself through Google as long as you have good reviews and, you have a lot of interaction, you have good interaction with the customers, it's going to pop up. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm, definitely, that's how it is.
Google helps out a lot. Aside from Booksy, Um, your email lists, people sign up, they put the emails. A lot of these apps have where you can send like a message to everybody that hasn't, put their email in the app. You can give them discounts. All this stuff is going to help you guys out in the long run. You know
No,
what I
yeah,
mean?
it's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Google's dope. You just saw like every little thing that we had. Instagram, except I don't think it popped up YouTube. I don't think YouTube popped up.
Are you able to put YouTube link on that page right there that comes up on
Oh yeah, it
Google?
did come up on YouTube. So, all right. So you can even see it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I don't even know what this is. NiceLocal.com, Zuby. I've never used that before. It shows you guys reviews.
No, but what I mean is like on the top, like all the way on the top when it comes up N.Y.O barbershop. Are you able to put the YouTube link right there next to it
Yeah, I could.
so people can click on and just go
Yeah, you
over
can
there?
you can add a website. You can add a booking app, a booking site like Booksy.
Yeah, you should do that.
Yeah, I don't know about the YouTube yet, but I have it set to where I think it takes you to a Booksy. So you click on the link and it's going to take you to Booksy so
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
book. The ultimate goal is to bring customers into the barbershop, not to have them search everything on YouTube. You know what I'm trying to
No,
say?
exactly.
So that's kind of why I just you can't put more than one website. I don't think.
Oh no, yeah.
If I
Yeah,
could put a whole
that's what I
bunch,
meant. If you was able to put like multiple things in
yeah, if
there.
you
If
could put a
not,
whole
then
bunch, that'd be awesome. But I think you
yeah.
can only use one. But you saw how everything just popped up. You have
Yeah, if you keep scrolling, you at the end of the day, it's gonna take you to YouTube too. So
yeah, Yelp, all
perfect.
those reviews and everything that people use to find things. So
Hmm.
Google's very important, man. Don't
Hmm.
you know don't sleep on Google, man. For real, Google will bring you people from. Another thing we could do too, not we can do, but the guys should do that we do here in the shop is sometimes when you get new customers in the chair that haven't been here before, there's nothing wrong with asking them how they hear about the barbershop. You know,
Well,
that's a good way
we
for you to
usually
see.
do that. Yeah.
That's a good way for you to see where your marketing is working. Most of the people, it's either Google or Instagram.
Yes.
Google or Instagram. So we know that Google works for us. Instagram is doing good for us. You know, we you know we have to put more time into like Facebook and things like that. But I mean, not all apps you can just do a post and it goes to everything. You know what I mean? You have to
Yeah.
sit there and do one for this and one for that and one
There's
for this,
actually an app that you can just post once and
and
it
it does
goes
say
to
everything.
yes,
Yeah, that's what I need. I
yes.
need that. All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up today. Y'all be safe. Peace.